What's up guys, going straight here back into the video. Today's video is what if the Total Drama World Tour cast was in Disventure Camp All Stars instead of the original Disventure Camp cast. So I think this would actually change a lot of things and make things very interesting because I think the World Tour cast is a really good cast all around. Duncan and Blaney are brought forward because I haven't got really a purpose for them being late characters. And I will explain all that once we get to that point in the video. So first of all, Blaney came back in the merge, and to even the teams, I brought her back. And for Duncan, he wouldn't quit this time because the big reason Duncan quit in the original was because he wanted to sing, but there would be no singing in this episode. So this is going to change a lot. So first of all, DJ wouldn't get the animal curse because they're not in Egypt. They're just on an island, like they are like Camp Tipasol. They're basically on a Total Drama island. Like DJ wouldn't get the animal curse, and also Zeke would not go feral at this point. So this is actually going to change a lot of things. So first of all, the creatures challenge, and I already have one deciding factor who wins the challenge. Now, Gwen's very good in her season. Heather was okay in hers. Alejandra's very good at taming wild animals. But DJ's really good with animals. Like DJ, he loves animals. He's really good with them. And because DJ doesn't have the Animal Curse World Tour, I do think DJ would win for his team. Like the only person with Alejandro who might be able to help is maybe Noah and Duncan, because I don't see anyone else on the rest of this team being that good at this challenge. Owen was not very good in his original season made on it. And Sierra and Izzy still swap teams. So I'm going to say DJ could pull it off. And I think Alejandro could pull it off. And I think Courtney and Gwen would vote for Heather. Cody votes Sierra. Sierra votes for Heather. Blaney would also vote for Heather. So I think Heather would actually be the first boot of this season. Because even though Blaney's very annoying, she doesn't strike me as someone who they want to get rid of before Heather. So I think Heather would get eliminated. Episode 3. So this is basically us dive underwater and get scuba diving gear. So how well would everyone actually do in this challenge? Well, Bridget has natural good awareness, so I imagine she would be pretty good at this challenge. Now, Alejandro would still be flirting with her at this point. And he can't get rid of Lashana because she's not Harold's still in the game. Courtney's perfectionist attitude would be pretty good at this challenge. Cody wouldn't be alright. I think the problem with this challenge is we don't really see anyone in water. I think that's the real problem. Zeke, not really. Harold and Tyler was pretty good on the skis in Ireland. Granted, he fell, but he was still seen to be pretty good. And Bridget, I actually don't know who would win this challenge. I'm just gonna say whoever does the best in the challenge. So Izzy's crazy, and Harold has mad skills. Bridget has natural awareness, and DJ can't swim. So I think DJ not being able to swim in this situation would actually slow down the yellow team quite a bit. So between the cyan team and the magenta, I think it doesn't really matter which one wins because DJ can't swim, so they're just gonna lose the challenge. Now, usually everyone would vote for DJ, but would Harold do the honorable samurai sacrifice that he does in the original? No, I don't think he does. I don't think Harold would sacrifice himself because I don't think Alejandro could convince him to quit in this timeline because there's not a commercial at this point. There's no commercial challenge, and I think the big reason Alejandro was able to convince him was because of his commercial with the samurai. So I think everyone would vote for DJ, even though it's not fair because he can't swim. It's not a fair situation. It's like a Noah situation, but for DJ, he wouldn't be able to be very helpful in this challenge. So I think they would vote him off. Like, the votes would probably go Ezekiel's way if it wasn't for DJ not being very helpful in this challenge. So, DJ's out. Episode 4. So how this one works is they get the beach bags and they have to get a point. So Alejandro's would be red. So I'm actually going to pair them up against each other. Okay. So Alejandro, Lashana, and Alejandro, Bridget, Blamely. I think Alejandro could just charm the girls to fight each other and he gets the point. Lashana, Tyler, Cody. Tyler's a gentleman because he doesn't want to fight a girl, so he's not going to fight. He didn't want to fight Gwen in the original. He's not going to want to fight Courtney. I'm sorry, he's not going to fight Courtney in the original. He doesn't want to fight Courtney. I can't speak. He doesn't want to fight Courtney in the original, so he's not going to want to fight Lashana. And I don't think Cody could take on Lashana because her abrasiveness would be too much for him to handle. And I think for Lashana, she gets that point. Harold, Noah, and Courtney. I think Courtney would get that point. I think Noah would attempt something schemish, but he's not got the power behind Courtney. So, Lindsay, Owen, Gwen. I'm going to say Gwen probably gets that point because I don't think Lindsay... We know that Owen can't fight, let's be realistic. And I can't imagine Lindsay being that good here. So that's 1 for Team Yellow, 1 for Cyan, and 2 for Magenta. So Ezekiel, Duncan, Sierra. Now, because Sierra's pretty strong though, but Cody's not in danger. That's tough. I mean, Duncan's pretty tough as well. Like, I think Zeke is definitely not winning the challenge. I think I would say Zeke's not winning. I'm gonna say, I mean, what do I say? It's tough. Do I say my favorite character wins? Don't want to be biased though. Okay, I'm gonna be unbiased and say Sierra beats Duncan. I know I don't think. I'm gonna say Sierra beats Duncan, and then Izzy would have to fight whoever else. So then Izzy would be up against Lashana and we're gonna say Courtney. I think Izzy would win. So that's 2 for blue, 2 for magenta, 1 for yellow. And Lashana and Harold are a duo, and Bridget and Lindsay. Now, Lindsay's friends with Ezekiel because of action, so they convince Zeke to vote for Lashana. So you're probably thinking, why would they vote for Lashana? Well, Lashana is a bigger threat. And I think overall, they would see Lashana has competed in more seasons and she's a lot more of a threatening player. And I think Alejandro would want to keep Bridget around a bit longer because in this timeline, he can't get us up to a poll. Granted, I don't think Alejandro would want to get rid of Lashana yet, but I think he's alright with it because it's a part of his game. So I think Lashana would get eliminated. So, episode 5. This is the 3-team triathlon challenge. So, the bike challenge, okay, so basically, it's going to be... So, I'm going to say 2 on the bike, 1 on the cliff for team. Alright. So, I'm going to say... Harold and Bridget for the bikes, Lindsay for the cliff jumping, Zeke for the foot race, Alejandro and Tyler for the bike, Noah and Owen for the cliff jumping, and Duncan, Izzy for the race, and Blamely, Cody for the bike, Courtney and Gwen for the diving, and Sierra for the foot race. Okay. So the race would be very close. I think Harold and Bridget could make it, and Alejandro and Tyler. Blamely and Cody wouldn't be that good here, and I think we have a bit of trouble because we know Courtney refuses to jump in the original timeline, but that's only because she doesn't. She thinks that no one will jump in the other team. Owen does jump, and Lindsay. I think because Lindsay and Owen both jump, I think that's enough for me to believe that would slow down the magenta team. So Duncan and Izzy would be able to get to the end, and I think I think Zeke just about gets to the end because I think Sierra gets slowed down because of Courtney and Gwen. Courtney aren't jumping. And I think that's a bit of a spoiler warning. I think Cody gets to Sierra. Courtney and Gwen are friends at this point, and Blainley obviously votes for Courtney. And I think Gwen and Courtney, they're not going to vote each other. So they kind of have majority. So Sierra does vote for Courtney because she cost him the challenge. So that's 1 Sierra, 2 Courtney, 1 Sierra. Gwen votes Sierra. It's convinced by Cody to vote for Gwen votes for Blainley. Courtney, though, votes. Blainley actually did the challenge. Sierra didn't do anything. So Cody would try to convince vote for Sierra, but Courtney and Gwen says they'll vote for Sierra next time with elimination because they find Blainley more annoying. So I think they would actually agree to get rid of Sierra here. Cody votes Sierra. Gwen and Courtney, I think she would agree because she doesn't hate Heather, Blainley, as much as she did Heather in the original. I didn't want to get rid of her as badly. So I think they would get rid of Sierra. Even though Courtney cost them the loss, I think they would get rid of Sierra. And you might argue that's not what would happen, but they did that to Tyler in the original. So, episode 6. Performing a musical then. Alright. So, Harold would do his Authentic Japan musical. Alejandro would do a monster musical. And Cody does his idea with the Donuts musical. So I think Courtney and Gwen wouldn't fall out because I think the reason why is they had different ideas. So I think Courtney and Gwen would fall out, which leaves Blainley and Cody to do the challenge. I think it was Heather that kind of caused that argument. So I do think that the magenta team would actually win the challenge. So could Cyan win instead? I actually think that with Duncan as an addition, they would still win. And I think Alejandro, this is where he would convince Harold to quit this episode. They would vote for Ezekiel, I think. I think it would be a tiebreaker. They just vote for Zeke, but I think Harold quits saving him. Episode 7. Alright, Bullbusters. So the attackers and the defenders then. Alright. So Bridget would be a defender, and I think Bridget is an attacker, Lindsay and Zeke are the defenders. So Alejandro would be an attacker, Tyler, and I think Noah. Actually, Duncan. And then I think the Noah, Owen, and Izzy would be defenders. So Noah and Owen are friends at this point. Courtney and Gwen are the attacker. Courtney's an attacker, and the rest of the defenders. So who would win? Well, I don't think Noah would do that well here. We do see that Cody in the likes of the dodgeball challenge is pretty good in that challenge. So maybe Cody could do something with his dodgeballing skills, like using his hands to deflect it with the lightning or something. So Cody might be able to do that. Noah wouldn't be that good here because he said in his original season that sports is not a forte and he wouldn't be good at physical challenges. Zeke would be pretty good because in World Tour he did train himself to be a lot stronger, so I think he would actually be quite good here. Alejandro, he'd be pretty good. Izzy would be pretty good. I think the Cyan team would actually win. So between Yellow and Magenta, it's not good. Blainley and Cody or Lindsay and Zeke, which are worse. I think Magenta. Noah would compete this time because obviously he knows he's going to get voted off if he doesn't. But that is difficult. I am going to say the magenta team probably would lose this challenge. And I think this is where Blaney does get eliminated, finally. Episode 8. Oh, and you're probably wondering why Courtney and Gwen are still friends. For the record, in this universe, the kiss does not happen. I'm assuming it's either after World Tour or just before it. But I'm going to say I'm just going to say this replaces World Tour, but the kiss doesn't happen in this universe. So basically, what I think would happen is in the 8th episode, we have the space episode. So Alondra's flirting with Bridget. Lindsay remembers Tyler in this episode. I think it would be pretty good for Lindsay to remember Tyler. Duncan obviously has no reason to get rid of Tyler at this point. Noah is suspicious of Alejandro. And I think everyone on their teams would still do pretty good in the original. So the people that would fall in the pit would be Courtney. I'm going to say Duncan. And I'm also going to say Ezekiel. So Courtney and Duncan have to fight each other. And I think Zeke sneaks off and manages to run to the top. And actually does manage to win it for his team. And I think it would be kind of ironic that Zeke drops the ladder to get revenge on Courtney for getting him eliminated in season 1. And we've seen that fight with Duncan and Courtney before. I think Courtney's winning that fight with Duncan. And Alejandro doesn't want to get rid of Duncan. He does not want to get rid of Duncan. Because Alejandro needs Duncan. And says, I want to get rid of Noah. Because Noah is a massive threat. Noah has been onto him. He's called him out. He's been very suspicious of him. However, I don't think Alejandro would vote for Noah. Because Noah wouldn't have been a challenge like Jack the Ripper where he called him out in the original. So I think Noah would be suspicious of Alejandro, but he wouldn't say anything. So I think Alejandro would think someone easier to beat in a tiebreaker because he says to Duncan, Noah, no one just picks each other in the end, and Izzy. So Duncan's aware of that. And Noah, Owen, and Izzy decide to vote for Alejandro. So Alejandro Tyler vote for Noah, and then the Duncan would also vote for Noah because in the original, Owen acted like was shocked at as if he didn't vote for Noah. So even if they didn't vote for Noah, Tyler or Duncan would be able to beat Noah in a tiebreaker. So I do love Noah, and it really sucks as much as I love Noah as a character. I think he does get eliminated. I can't see Noah surviving this elimination. I think Alejandro would get rid of Izzy, but I think it's too risky for him because there's a chance Tyler or Duncan could lose the tiebreaker, and Noah would be the easiest person to beat in a tiebreaker, so I think Noah's out. Episode 9, the final episode before the merge. So basically this is shooting a basket, so you have to get 3 points. So Bridget, Alejandro, Courtney. I think Courtney could do it because Courtney is her perfectionist attitude, so I think she'll be able to do it. That's 1 point. Lindsay, Tyler, Gwen. I'll actually give this point to Tyler because I think he would be pretty good at this. Ezekiel, Duncan, Cody. I'm going to give this to Duncan because Duncan was able to do strategies in the dodgeball challenge, so I think that Duncan would be able to pull off a strategy that would help him in this challenge with his team. Owen, so that's 2 for cyan, 1 for magenta, nothing for yellow. Bridget, Owen, and Courtney. I think Bridget would actually be able to get the points. That's 1 for Bridget. I already said this Courtney, so that's 1 Courtney. 2 cyan, 2 magenta, Izzy, Gwen, and I think Ezekiel. Izzy would win because I don't think Gwen would be that good here, and I don't imagine Izzy could be that good at basketball. So I think the cyan team would win the challenge. And this is interesting because 2 teams with elimination, but they choose who to eliminate. So Courtney and Gwen are friends. Bridget is friends with Courtney. So Courtney and Gwen decide with Bridget and Cody who they get rid of between Lindsay and Ezekiel. And I think they would choose Lindsay. Now, hear me out. You probably think Zeke, right? Well, the thing is, Lindsay's competed in more seasons, and her relationship with Tyler is quite threatening because Courtney's a smart player, and Courtney would realize that Alejandro would have a 4-person alliance if Lindsay gets to the merge, where Zeke's just by himself. So if Zeke is by himself, they can convince him easier, I think, than Lindsay. And I think Bridget wouldn't like to vote for Lindsay because she does like her. Courtney's not liked her since Action. Gwen and Courtney are friends. But I think they would get rid of Lindsay. Would they, though? Or would they rather get rid of Courtney? That's actually a tough decision. I think Alejandro could persuade Bridget to get rid of Courtney. But I think they would get rid of Lindsay. I think Lindsay goes. I think Lindsay loses. I think Lindsay's eliminated after this challenge. So bye-bye, Lindsay. And we are at the merge. So this is the merge. Cast. Say goodbye to these teams. So on the yellow team, we have Zeke and Bridget. On the blue team, Cyan, we had Alejandro, Duncan, Owen, Tyler, and Izzy. On the magenta, we had Cody, Gwen, and Courtney. I cannot believe that I've had most of Cyan wins. So, in episode 10, so basically they're just 22 of the dynamic guns and the last person standing wins. So we know Owen's pretty bad in his season, so we can rule him out. Alejandro got hit in All Stars, but that's because he got distracted by Heather, so I think he would be alright here. Duncan was pretty good in his season, but he only saved Gwen. Zeke wouldn't be that good. Bridget wouldn't do that good either. Cody was pretty good. Cody was pretty good in his season. Courtney would be out. Duncan. Who did the best? DJ, but he's not here. Duncan and Courtney got stuck together, so they wouldn't do that well. Gwen wouldn't. So between Izzy, Tyler, Alejandro, and Cody, then Izzy. I feel like Izzy would win the challenge because she's actually crazy and she's really good at these type of challenges. So I think she wins immunity. And Alejandro would see there's a 3-person alliance and there's Izzy and Owen. So he would think who's a bigger threat. Now, Zeke likes Bridget. So Alejandro can get Zeke on his side. Cody's also an alliance. So that's a 4-person alliance, right? So Alejandro goes to Owen and Izzy. And Alejandro says we have to get rid of one of these 4 people. So Owen's going to go to Cody, but he's friends with Duncan. So Alejandro says, let's get rid of Courtney. Because Alejandro uses his brain and knows that Owen doesn't like Courtney very much after Action. So I think Owen would vote for Courtney, and I think Courtney does get eliminated in this challenge. So Courtney is out, and I think Zeke's on board with that as well. Episode 11, this is the combat challenge. So I think Duncan's Courtney. Cody, it would be funny if it's Sierra. Lindsay is Tyler. Heather, Alejandro. Gwen. DJ, I'm going to say, is Owen. Izzy, Noah. I don't know. Who do I bring back? You know what? Even though he's been gone a few episodes, I'm bringing back Noah. Because I think Noah coming back would make things really interesting. Episode 12. But who wins immunity as well? So I'm going to say Noah. Izzy won the last challenge. So I'm going to say Owen and Noah actually win immunity. Right, so I'm going to say that Owen managed to win for Noah. So in episode 12, so basically they have to find a hidden flag that's hidden until the end of the and keep it till the end of the night. All right. So Noah would want to get rid of Alejandro, and I think he would be able to convince Cody, Gwen, and Duncan. And I think Noah would be annoyed at Duncan for getting rid of him. But Duncan says it's nothing personal, it was just a strategy. And he simply points out that Noah and Owen's friendship are more threatening, but at this point they're in the merge. So basically, at this point, he knows that Noah is less of a threat than Alejandro. So I think Noah would be able to listen and realize that Duncan is right. It was strategy and actually a really good move by him. So getting the flag, I think here Izzy could get the flag. So who'd last the longest? So Noah and Owen have immunity from last challenge, because in this challenge the person that wins still has immunity. For this challenge, I think it personally doesn't make any sense for that to happen, but it's faithful to the original. I think the winner of the challenge would be Alejandro. Just to keep things interesting, I think then Alejandro win immunity. He's able to charm his way and get the flag. So Alejandro wins. So Noah, Owen, and Izzy realize that they actually need to get rid of one of the Alliance members. But Alejandro goes to Duncan. He goes to Duncan and says, Alejandro says we need to get rid of Izzy because she's going to be a massive threat going forward. Duncan is going to see that Izzy's a massive threat for going forward into the merge, but Owen's quite popular. So I think that these six, Cody's not going to vote for Owen. He's not going to vote for Noah. But I think Gwen could be convinced, or Duncan. And I think this is where Alejandro gets Cody. Obviously, the kiss never happened, so Cody has no reason not to like Duncan. So they're kind of friends. So Alejandro tells Gwen, and he tells these three to vote for Izzy. This wasn't their idea. They want to vote for one of them, but Noah says we need to vote for one of these four. Well, we have majority at this point. So I think the person they would choose to eliminate at this point, Duncan says to Gwen that we need to get rid of Izzy because she can be a massive threat going forward. But Gwen says we should get rid of one of the Alliance members. And Duncan says, you're not going to get rid of Bridget. You're not going to... Tyler or Zeke then are only options if you're not going to get rid of Bridget. So I think what would happen is Bridget doesn't like Duncan. Duncan doesn't like Bridget. Alejandro is going to see that and he's going to realize he needs somebody else on his side. Noah, Owen, and Alejandro immunities, so these six decide to stick together and decide to vote off Tyler. Well, they're going to vote for Tyler, but Alejandro says to Duncan, we need to get rid of Izzy, she's a bigger threat. And if you get rid of, let's say you get rid of Tyler, once us four are gone, they're just going to vote you off and next anyways. So I hope you're prepared for that. I mean, they'll just get rid of Gwen in the final five. And Duncan doesn't want to have that. So Duncan decides that actually, I'm going to flip in this vote and try my luck. Would he though? I think he is in alliance with Noah. I actually don't know how this ought to go. I'm going to say he gets rid of Bridget. Gwen wouldn't vote for Bridget, so I think Alejandro decides to intervene and talks to Gwen and says, let's get rid of Izzy. That way Bridget is safe and I can keep you safe. They vote for Izzy. Izzy's going home. Noah freaks out. He shouts at Duncan. Duncan says, I didn't do it. Gwen then looks guilty. They look at Gwen, disappointed and annoyed that Alejandro got to her head. I think Izzy gets eliminated. Episode 13. So these 6 are in an alliance. Right. So Tyler, Bridget, and Zeke. I think they do vote for Bridget at this point, because Bridget's Alejandro's closest ally, so they get rid of Bridget. Episode 13, the Superheroes Challenge. So I think Noah would be like telepath, Owen's like super speed. Is he craziness? I don't know. I guess we'll just give them what they were originally. Alejandro, I think, being a master fighter. So how would this go? Cody used to be speed. I think it'd be funny if Noah in an interview just said that he wouldn't want a superpower, so he just doesn't get one. I think it would be kind of funny that Noah just doesn't get one, which I think would be kind of funny. But I don't know. I'm actually going to say that who wins the challenge? Who would be good at this type of thing? I don't know. I'm actually going to say that Zeke. So I'm going to say Duncan and Gwen would fall. Izzy is definitely not making it, and Cody. Noah and Owen. I'm actually going to say Zeke wouldn't make it. So I'm going to give Alejandro and Tyler immunity. So Alejandro would be a telepath. I think Tyler's being a telepath would be kind of ironic. So I'm going to give Tyler and Alejandro immunity. And I think Noah's like, damn, he's still immune. The 6 Alliance, would they vote for Ezekiel, or would Duncan, Gwen, and Cody vote for Noah or Izzy or Owen, because they're going to be quite popular. So Alejandro gets Tyler and Zeke to vote for Owen, to vote for Izzy. Cody gets Gwen, Duncan, Noah, and Owen, though. They decide to vote for Ezekiel. So I think Ezekiel would get eliminated around this point. So Zeke's out. Fair play to Ezekiel. Like, he made it to final 9 is pretty good for Ezekiel. So I think him getting cut here would be pretty satisfying. Like, it would be pretty sad because they wouldn't want to get rid of him. But he's the last person of Alejandro's lines that is not immune. But now that he's gone, Alejandro and Tyler realize they have to win challenges to make sure that Noah and Duncan's alliances are going to go against each other. Episode 14. So the TikToks then. Alright. So for the TikToks, the pairs are Alejandro and Tyler, Noah and Owen, Izzy and Duncan, or Gwen and Duncan, Cody and Izzy. Yeah, so I think that would be right. Duncan, yeah, that would be right. I'm gonna say Duncan and Tyler, Noah, Alejandro and Noah, Owen, Gwen, Izzy and Cody, Izzy, Owen. So they have to do the dances then. So Alejandro and Noah would be pretty smart, so they actually be able to do it. Duncan could get the watch from the cave and get in Tyler, and I think he would be able to get him out of that situation, because I don't think he'd leave him like Ali did. So I think Alejandro, Noah, Gwen, Tyler, and Duncan are safe, because I think Duncan would be able to balance out Tyler. So between Gwen and Cody and Izzy and Owen, I do think Izzy and Owen would win this challenge, because Izzy is crazy, but she also is really good at dancing, as we saw her hypnotizing Owen. So I think she would be able to win it. So between Gwen and Cody, who would do worse at dancing? Cody or Gwen? Damn, that is actually difficult. Who would do worse in the dancing challenge? Gwen's quite artistic. Who would have the worst TikToks? I actually don't know. I'm gonna say Gwen has the worst TikToks. And I think Cody wouldn't work with Duncan. So I think Gwen having the worst TikToks would make things very interesting. Episode 15. So weight off your shoulders. This is basically being very honest in how much weight you can carry. So Noah, Cody, and Owen are definitely out, and Izzy's crazy strong. Now this one might be a very strange one, but I don't think Alejandro would win because he wouldn't be very honest, and neither would Duncan would be okay here, but he wouldn't win. So between Tyler and Izzy, I actually think Tyler wins. Because think that how much momentum he would take on a daily basis. Like, he takes like a champ. He never takes it as if he's hurt. So I do think Tyler would win the challenge. So Alejandro's in a bit of trouble here because he knows he's going to get eliminated. So these two would vote for Alejandro, and then Alejandro gets Duncan, and he says, we need to vote for Izzy. And then Alejandro would try to convince Cody to vote for Izzy, but he points out that that Gwen got eliminated last challenge. And I think because Gwen just got eliminated, I do think Cody would be very sad that she got voted off. She didn't even get like a fair vote. I think what would happen is Alejandro. I'm going to say that. Does he go? I'm actually going to say Alejandro does get eliminated. I think he doesn't save himself. I think he does get eliminated at this point. Episode 16. So episode 16, this is the Jigsaw's challenge. So I'm going to give someone the totem. I'm going to give someone the immunity totem. I'm going to give this to, I think, Duncan. I think Duncan finds it in the tree. And Duncan makes an alliance with Cody and Tyler to get rid of Noah's alliance. So Owen's not winning. I don't think Cody would win. Tyler's definitely not winning. So I think Noah would win immunity because I think outside of everyone else, Noah would do very good in this challenge. Maybe Izzy, but I just think Noah would be really good. Noah would absolutely kill this challenge, and I think Noah would be really good at it. So Noah has immunity. So Duncan's annoyed that Noah has immunity, so he says to Cody and Tyler to vote for Izzy. And the other three would vote for Cody. Now, Duncan would realise that he needs his idol. So Duncan gives Cody his immunity idol and says, he told him. So Duncan says, I played this on Cody, and I think Izzy does get eliminated. So I think Izzy's out. Now, you're probably thinking, why would he not just get rid of Owen? And I think it's quite simple. Izzy's more unpredictable and better at challenges. Even though Owen's been has been the finale before, I think he would realise that Izzy would be a bigger threat going forward. Episode 17. Episode 17 is racing on your horses. So I think Owen wouldn't be that good here. Duncan was pretty good in his season. Duncan was pretty good with the bird. Cody was pretty good, and Tyler wouldn't be that good. Noah wouldn't be that good as well. So I'm going to give Duncan immunity because Duncan was pretty good with the bird. So I think because Duncan's been shown to have a soft spot for animals, so I think Duncan would win. And I think he would convince Tyler and Cody to get rid of Owen because he's a bigger threat than Noah. So I think Owen does get eliminated. Noah's very sad, but there's nothing he can do. Owen's out. Episode 18, State of Shock. So they have to go into the maze and basically try and find their way out. So I'm actually going to say Duncan would be good at this. Noah's pretty smart, so he'd be able to figure out the maze. Tyler's just kind of dumb looking his way to the end. So I think between these four, the person that would win the challenge would more than likely be. So here's the thing, though. I'm not sure, because this is a great final four. I'm actually going to say Noah. I'm going to say between Noah and Duncan, because I think it would be between Noah and Duncan. Because first of all, Tyler just wouldn't be that good here. I can't imagine Cody being that good as well. So I think between Noah and Duncan. So I'm actually going to say that Noah would win immunity using his smart. And I think Tyler and Cody and Noah would vote for Duncan. And I think Duncan's kind of annoyed. it would be kind of ironic because Duncan's been like this kind of this leader, and I think they would realise that Duncan is the bigger threat. He's got beaten him more seasons and made it for finale before. He's the only person that's like an actual finalist here, so I think it would get rid of him. Episode 19 is playing for the helpers. So for Noah, it is going to be Owen and Tyler, Lindsay, Cody, Gwen. So let's just get the helpers. Lindsay, Gwen, Owen. So I think the first person to find the totem would be Lindsay, then Gwen, then Owen. I think Noah just gets the disadvantage just because of the fact it's completely random. I think they would give Noah the disadvantage because he's a returning player. Getting the diamonds and it's a race to the end. I think Cody and Tyler are going to do it. I think Cody and Tyler would team up to take out Noah because they would realise that Noah's going to be quite threatening going forward. And I usually do say Noah wins, but the thing is, Noah's not physically athletic, and I think Cody would actually be pretty good at this challenge. I think with Gwen helping Cody, I think something primal would go inside Cody. Kind of like Super Saiyan in a sense. So basically, Super Saiyan Cody with Tyler would be insane. I think Noah's just not winning the challenge. So, third place, Noah. I love Noah. Sorry, I just can't have a... I just think having a returning contestant win the season isn't nearly as satisfying, in my opinion. So I think Noah would be team Cody and Tyler tag team. Whether Cody gets there first or Tyler, it doesn't matter. I think Noah's losing. I think he would lose the challenge, and I think Cody is going to make it to the end. So in episode 21, the helpers in the actual gladiator rings. I'm going to say it's 2 people per team in the first round. So I chose Duncan and Alejandra for Tyler, and for Cody I chose Harold and Sierra. Sierra would want to help Cody, obviously, and Harold. I mean, they're in a band together. I think it would be satisfying if Duncan did help Tyler because they had a bit of rivalry, and he did get voted off in the first season. And Alejandro would just want the money, so I think he would help Tyler. And they seem to get on, so I think he would have Alejandro help him. So they shoot at each other, they have to fight each other in the first round. Who gets the advantage with the armor? I think Cody would probably get the advantage because I don't think Sierra would let Alejandro let him get hit. So I think Cody would win that part. So they get a point-to-point system. Now I'm basing this on the fact that in Greece, Cody has defeated Tyler in a 1-4. The same cannot be said the other way around. So I think the winner of this season would be Cody. So I think it's close, but even though Tyler's my favourite of the 2 characters, I think being unbiased, I think Cody would win over Tyler in this situation. But if you disagree, that's absolutely fine, and you could say that Tyler wins the season. Or if you want, you could say Noah wins the season. But that's the way I'm having it, so thank you guys for watching. This is the animation or anything season 1 have gone. If the World Tour cast was in Disventure Camp All Stars instead of the original All Stars cast, and yeah, peace for all.